Hello, we have a race this evening. It's RLH back once again after a week's absence, and we've got C1 action for you. As you can see, we're underway with qualifying, and Wolvesy actually coming across the line to start a lap. I believe I'll get the track map up, which may help us, but I think he's the first man out there to start a lap, and looking pretty committed through Tamburello. We'll get some data on the screen for you, just so you can follow every inch of qualifying. And on board now with Wolvesy as he comes down into Tosa, just a little bit wide, misses the apex, but gets a reasonable run out of there. And just also make sure a couple of other bits are set up so we can be a little bit more interactive with you. There we go, and some support for Huss already, who is taking the second Haas seat this evening, in place of, I think, about to Kick, who is not available due to work commitments. So Wolvesy now through the Variante Alta, and now down to the first of the two Ravazzas. We've got some yellows. Wait a minute, Destroyer has retired on the a long way out of the exit of Aqua Minerale, which is a little bit bizarre, but either way, Wolvesy first man across the line, 16.301, and who's going to be next to join him? We'll try and pick out, I think we've maybe got Jordan Mason on a lap, is he? Yep, can he beat his teammate first time around? Yes, he does, a 15.4 for the second of the Ferraris. And the times are, I'm sure, going to come in very quickly now. Formula SB starting a lap. The Entity slots into that front row position with a 15.7, and now, yeah, they're all coming cranky. 16.1. He was C2 pole position, I believe, at Imola last season. Lanzi in there on a 15.7 as well. Ricker and Micken coming through. We'll stick with Formula SB because I'm pretty certain he's had a pole position already this season, if not a couple. Definitely one of the fastest drivers in C1 over a single lap, and looking pretty committed so far. Plenty of yellows. I think it's just drivers jockeying for position on their outlaps, making sure to stay out of the way of drivers on their flying laps, of course. Remaining on board with Formula SB through the Variante Alta. Those massive curves, taking plenty of them. So easy to run just a little bit wide on that exit and invalidate the lap, but plenty of spare track on the exit for Formula SB this time. Just looking to get a time on the board, of course, through the two Ravazzas, all looking nice and neat and tidy. Carl peeling off into the pit lane ahead, so no trouble as he'll aim for the shortest run to the line, and does indeed go fastest. Just we missed Fleddy's lap in there, another of the absolute quickest men in RLH at the moment. He slots in just behind at 14.8 as well. MRPK straight up to third with a 14.9. Your C2 winner last week, earned himself a step up at the first attempt. And who else have we had go through with a lap? I think that's probably it. We've just about caught up with everyone, as we've got a couple of guys coming towards the end of laps. Lanzi, I think, coming in the pits. Yeah, there's a Alpha, which could be Ahmed. He's invalidated. Prestari is on an outlap by the looks of things. Who's that? So that's another car returning to the pits. So I believe for the moment it's just a little bit quiet. We've got Giraffe starting a lap. No, he's coming into the pits. Have we got anyone out there on a lap? There's Formula SB, I think, isn't it? Yeah, coming back to the pits. It's all a little bit quiet at the moment. Still showing a yellow flag. And that is, I believe, Ahmed, just running a little bit slowly. Yep. So 11.5 minutes remaining, as we can see now. We'll try and pick out someone who's about to start a flying lap. Micken, I think, has just finished a lap. So while we have a little bit of downtime, we will I'll try and find someone out on track to go on board with, and I'll try and find some standings to have a little nosy at after the first 3 races. That is individual results. There we go. Lanzi actually sits top of the pile on 88 points so far from Giraffe in the Williams, both of which have had 2 podiums. Only 2 drivers to stand on the podium twice so far this season in the 3 races. Then Liam, the Entity, Formula SB, and Fleddy down in 6th place at the moment, equal with Ricker actually on 42 points. So there's a couple of sort of what you would imagine to be championship contenders who need a good result this evening, and I'm sure we'll see them giving everything to do so. I'm just going to catch up with a couple of comments, various things happening in the Discord. So Prestari coming through the final couple of corners and across the line onto the second row actually, so slots in just behind MRPK, who is actually his teammate in the Alpine for this evening, who's starting another lap as well, so he'll be looking to improve. If he can sneak another 10th, he will put it on provisional pole, but of course Fleddy and Formula SB will be looking to improve as well. We missed Fleddy's first lap. Let's go on board for what looks to be the start of his second attempt. Some yellow flags ahead. I think that's just a driver staying to the left-hand side. It is indeed Prestari on his in-lap. But Fleddy now, look at the commitment through the Villeneuve chicane. A little bit wide, if anything. Just picked up a bit of understeer in the mid-corner. Down into Tosa now, getting it stopped just about. Hooks up the apex. Good run out of there. Now all the way up this steep hill to Piratella. It's a blind entry. But, looking for that curb on the inside. Doesn't want to run it too wide. And now Aqua Minerale, tricky downhill braking zone, and then as soon as you get to the apex, it's back uphill again. One of the absolute classics with the undulating track surface here at Imola, and now once again the Variante Alta with those massive curves. Took a lot of the entry curve on the right hand side, but yeah, got through there very nicely indeed, and looking like it could be an improvement here for Fleddy. Down into the first of the 2 Ravazzas, again taking a lot of curve on the entry. Again, just picked up a bit of understeer in the mid-corner, so not an ideal run through the second Ravazza, but across the line it's going to be a 14.4, so a big improvement. Puts him to the top of the pile. MRPK, does he improve? He does not. Jordan Mason doesn't seem to be doing so either, maybe on a slow lap actually. Giraffe, I think may have just set that 15.0. Bootie's in the pits. Liam back to the pits as well. Cranky is potentially on a lap, so we'll go on board near the end of it. A couple of cars up ahead, hopefully don't become too much of an issue. Oh, he's run very deep. Will cost himself a bit of time with that one. Oh, and a big slide as well, and I wonder if he'll just continue to finish the lap. What's it going to be? It's a 15.1, still improves and puts himself P8 just behind his teammate Liam with that one. And I think that was Formula SB coming out of the pits and just making sure he stayed absolutely out of the way. Wolvesy, I think, has just improved to P12 on a 15.7. And now, once again, a bit of a lull. That could be Huss. Now he's coming back to the pits. MRPK's now in the final corner. And is this going to be a lap? It looks like it is. So is it going to be in the low 14s again? Yep. Oh, look at that. 14.4. But knocks Fleddy off the perch once again. You can see why he was so quick last week in C2 at Interlagos, can't you? Straight to the top of the pile at C1. Ahmed has just improved as well to go P3, so he's pulled out a decent lap. We'll be very happy with that one, just into the 14.4s. Lanzi, sort of absent from the lead group at the moment. Would have expected a little bit more from him as he returns to the pits with 6 minutes to go, so another run to come for him, and he'll be hoping to improve. do we have anyone out there on a lap? We've got Ricker, we've just missed as he finished his lap, improved by about a third of a second to go P12. It's all looking pretty competitive again, isn't it? You've got a lot of drivers there between sort of a 14.9 and a 15.4. It's most of the field there. As Ricker, I believe, is on an in lap, but yeah, it seems to be going rather quick. And so I think it's going to probably be a bit of a lull before the final few minutes of qualifying, and then they'll all steam out and hope to get a clear piece of track despite all 19 of them being on track at the same time. Of course, we've lost Destroyer. He will set no time in this session. Formula SB is improving by just over a tenth, but he needs a bit more than that if he's going to get on terms with the top three at the moment. Currently sitting about 4/10 off, as yeah, a little bit of oversteer through the middle of his run through the Variante Alta. So certainly didn't look as neat and tidy as Fleddy through there on the previous run. But did seem to get it hooked up a little bit nicer through Rivazza too. So this will be interesting to see where he slots in. It's a 14.6, so he improved by another tenth in the final sector, but not enough to improve his position. Stays P4 at the moment. Who have we got? We've got Andre Ivan on an outlap. One of the Aston Martins out at the back of the circuit as well. That's Booty, I believe, also on an outlap. So we'll stick with Andre for now, as and we're watching through the first sector. See how he gets on. Car coming out of the pit shouldn't be too much of an issue. Straight lining the run down to the Tamburello chicane. A lot of entry curve. Oh, it just unsettled the car. Got a little bit loose on the right hand part of it. First sector time coming up. What's it going to be? He's just about matched it. A little bit slower through the first sector. But, still plenty of time to make that up in the remainder of the lap. Just going to look through the very fast left-hander at Peratella now, using all of the track on the exit. Downhill into Aqua Minerale, and that's going to be very lucky. And wait a minute, Liam's got a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. I think that might have been getting out of the way of Booty, and he seems to have blocked his own teammate, so that is very unfortunate for him. And yeah, just yeah, not much he could do about that, I imagine. Either way, let's go back to Andre as he yeah, comes back to the pits, so that was convenient, wasn't it? Let's find someone else. Prestari, is he on a lap? No, starting a lap by the looks of it. Just over 2.5 minutes remaining, so they'll have to get them in. Williams coming out of the pits, I believe that is Giraffe, who currently sits P6. Prestari then through the Villeneuve chicane. Cars look so quick around this Imola circuit with the close proximity of the barriers and some seriously high-speed corners. Prestari not really improving, and a lot of traffic here. Hopefully, yeah, does manage to get out of the way. Might have even got a sneaky little toe off one of the Alphas there. Now through the middle sector. Plenty of time to be made up here through what is a sequence of tricky corners. Looked pretty good through there, through Aqua Minerale, up the hill now to the Variante Alta, and yeah, he's gained a little bit back, but still down on his personal best time. Looked very good through the Variante Alta this time, though. Yeah, the traffic ahead shouldn't become an issue as he closes out the lap with the 2 Rivazzas. All looks very good. So make sure you don't turn too early into that second Rivazza. It's always tempting. But, yeah, executed nicely and does actually improve with yeah, about a third of a second to end the lap. Goes P6. Liam is out of it. He's managed to lose it down at Aqua Minerale as well, as we saw with Destroyer earlier. Who else is going to come across the line? Jordan Mason, I think, is starting a lap. We'll try and pick them out as they finish the laps. Booty runs a little bit wide, but is already invalidated. No improvement from him. cranky. Can he improve? Can he get ahead of his teammate? He sits 1/100th of a second behind him at the moment. He's invalidated the lap as well, so he will go no further unless he's got a little bit of fuel in to go for a second attempt. Lanzi is starting his final lap, so we'll keep an eye on him. Needs an improvement from P12 currently. None of the Mercedes, in fact Maggot may just have improved, but only 14th. Who else have we got coming around? Micken may have just... no, he's starting a lap as well. Is that Formula SB? He's starting a lap. Ahmed out the back of the circuit is invalidated and won't get another lap in, so that's qualifying over for him. Currently sitting in P3, trying to get out of the way of the fast runners. Who else have we got coming around? Ricker doesn't look to be improving. 4 seconds to go, so that Williams, I believe it is, that's just crossed the line, will be the last one. Booty is in the pits but already finished. So I think Giraffe may just have got a lap in. We'll keep an eye on him. Let's go back to Lanzi. MRPK still on pole. Fleddy and Ahmed. Doesn't seem to be much change there. Formula SB, I think, has dropped down at some point. Yeah, Jordan Mason has gone up to P4. Lanzi, though, coming around the final corner now. Can he improve? Driving for the line. It doesn't look like it's going to be spectacular, but does get him into the top 10, but only the lower part of it. And who else have we got to come across the line? MRPK improved, did he? Yeah, 14-1. Oh my word. What a lap that was. Micken has invalidated. Formula SB, what can he manage as he crosses the line? No, he's going into the pits as well. So a bit of a dead rubber to end the qualifying. Fleddy has invalidated his lap as well. So it looks like that's going to be it, unless we've got any sort of improvement from the Mercedes. We might just... Maggot's invalidated. Ricker might just pop himself up a couple of places. Across the line, does indeed go P13. So not a bad result in the end for him. He'll have free choice of tyre and is relatively close to the top 10. I think that's it for qualifying. Pretty sure we've got everyone across the line. I'm just waiting for a couple of runners to return to the pits. We've got Maggot, who appears to have got a little lost. Pit lane's the other side, mate. There we go. So, yeah, very shortly we will be going racing. And in the meantime, I'll catch up with a few of the comments. Vico Kai, I believe, is on pole for C2. Formula SB saying he had time in the bag but messed up his final lap, unfortunately. Maggot simply describes his qualifying as a disaster. Where did he end up? 15th, I think, wasn't he, in the second Mercedes? Yep. And yeah, Fleddy also messed up his final lap. Yeah, Liam not happy with that 5-place grid penalty, which will drop him down to, well, 16th then, isn't it? Yeah, for letting the Aston through. But yeah, as Formula SB saying that, all to play for. There is a very long way to go yet. Destroy saying he really enjoyed his lap. He got as far as... he didn't quite get as far as Variante Alta, did he? Made it halfway down the straight towards it, but yeah, he'll start dead last, unfortunately. Right, to the grid very shortly we will be going. Liam in the comments on the stream as well, this game is so bad. Yes. Yes, it is. Just waiting for the drivers to lock in their strategies, of course. And for those outside the top 10, they can have a nice, shiny new set of tyres. Of whatever compound they want as well. If you're in the top 10, you have the unfortunate honour of starting on your qualifying tyres, of course, a rule that has now been scrapped for 2022. Either way, we're away on the formation lap. MRPK leading away for the second week in succession. This time in C1, however. And we will get some information up on the screen. Not that bothered about lap data, telemetry. Yeah, we'll keep it off for now. We will start with the position change, which is a regular occurrence, of course. See who are the winners and losers. And yeah, hopefully it will not be too long before we're back round to the grid and underway with some racing. We'll just have a quick look at the Constructors Championship, because Williams have got off to, it's a very classic looking Constructors Championship. Williams on 135, leading McLaren on 130. So yeah, two historic British teams doing very well indeed. So who does the glory go to for that? That's Fleddy and Lanzi for McLaren, and Giraffe and the Entity, our social media experts, doing a fantastic job of picking up the points in the first three races. Giraffe sitting P2, as we mentioned, with 2 podiums from 3 races. The Entity's been up there once. He currently sits P4, 3 points off Liam, who was, I believe, your race winner in round 1 in Australia. And would you look at that, we're already back to the start-finish straight. And MRPK will be lining up with a chance to lead us into turn 1. Still quite a while to go before Destroyer is the final car to line up. He's still coming down the hill towards the first Ravazza. And final car now coming into place. So before too long, we will have some lights and hopefully a forward-facing camera. We'll keep trying. Never the easiest thing, but either way, we've got some lights coming on now. We are up the front of the grid as well, so 4 are on already, 5, they're out now, and we're racing. Fleddy, can he get outrun? MRPK seems to have got a good start. Yeah, Fleddy looks like he's going to lead down into turn 1. MRPK tucks in behind him, looking for the toe, goes to the outside for the racing line. Look at Jordan Mason coming up there as well. Oh, a little bit of contact, one of the Williams, just saying how good a season they've had so far, but Giraffe is unfortunately all the way down to the back of the pack, and I believe has damage too. May be mistaken on that one, but either way, he's got a lot of work to do. Fleddy leads us away out of Tosa for the first time. More yellows through the Villeneuve chicane, but I can't see anyone dropping down significantly, so I think they've probably just about all got away with that one. Fleddy leads MRPK, Jordan Mason, Formula FB. Ahmed drops down a couple to P5. The Entity, Prestari, Lanzi, Cranky, Booty, Ricker, Wolves, Andre and Liam jockeying for position there. And then it's Maggot, Destroyer up 4 already. Luke and Micken, followed by Huss, and then Giraffe, unfortunately, as we've said, down to the back of the field, although he is making progress past Huss, who seems to be struggling there. I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure someone in the field has a bit of front wing missing. We definitely saw some debris going flying. It's Destroyer. So he's made progress, he's up 4 positions somehow, but he's completely lost his front wing and will have to pit this lap. So that's going to, unfortunately, say good night to his race pretty much. As Booty's in as well, we've got Liam and Wolvesy in. So 4 cars in at the end of lap 1, back to the front. Fleddy leads us into another lap. MRPK still sticking with him though, so Fleddy at the moment has not had the sort of stunning start to the season that we would have expected. He's picked up 42 points from the first 3 races. He has picked up 1 win so far, but looking to make it a second and put himself right back in the hunt this evening. Booty, I think, may have made contact with the back of Giraffe. That seems to be what's happened. So Booty, one of the drivers to pit for a new front wing. Jordan Mason is now just starting to drop back a little bit. That 1 second window's opening up as we come round towards the end of lap 2. That's going to be crucial because Formula SB... And, oh, wait, we've got Destroyer out of the... So he's straight out of the pits and straight into the wall, and we've got a virtual safety car. Oh! Ahmed there seemed to be caught out, didn't register the fact we had the VSC, and came steaming down into Ravazza, almost ran into the back of Jordan Mason. Hopefully he'll have been able to get it back under the Delta. Does seem to return to his correct position now. Unfortunately for Booty, Wolvesy and Liam, it's not a full safety car and they can't catch the back of the pack. So the VSC of course just neutralising the race, not closing the gaps up between the cars. We do however have Micken in the pits. So he started on the soft tyres. What's he going to put on? That'll be interesting. So he's going to get a little bit of a cheap pit stop. We will catch up with him. Is he having a front wing going on the Haas? So obviously had a little bit of damage there as well. Using this virtual safety car to repair that and put on the hard tyres. And I'm not entirely sure when we're going to get racing again. We are now. So he's just going to lose out a little bit as he trundles down the pit lane, and he's going to lose out to those cars that pitted the lap before actually. So Micken right to the back of the field. Yeah, Destroyer's race didn't really start, did it? So he's crashed on him. I don't know if he crashed halfway around his flying lap or on his out lap in quali, but yeah, crashed in quali, damage on lap 1, and then didn't even make it to the end of sector 1 after returning from the pits. So yeah, night to forget for him, I'm sure. Fleddy, though, leads us round into lap 4, and we do have some DRS, and MRPK is using it. Jordan Mason's just got himself back within range as well, so Fleddy now is starting to come under a little bit of pressure. Is MRPK going to go for the move? No, he's going to follow him through Tamburello this time, and no DRS until the end of the lap again. It's just one DRS zone here. So Fleddy now has a little bit of a rest and can charge up his battery until we get to the exit of the Ravazzas again. A little bit of oversteer as he comes through Tosa that time. We've got an almighty scrap going on down the field between Andre Ivan, Luke and Giraffe, recovering from that spin on lap 1. Giraffe looking to go all the way around the outside there. That'll be a move, won't it? Up the hill out of Tosa, and now he's going to go through Piratella. Surely not side by side, can they? Giraffe just about keeps it on the track, runs off just at the exit there, unfortunately, as Ahmed picks up a time penalty, and Formula SB, currently where 5th in the championship, moves up to P4 in the race. But look at this, we've got the Entity as well, looking to make up some points for Williams, make it a little bit of a better evening for them. He is now, what, P6, but putting them, Ahmed, under some incredible pressure. But now look, that Prostari also making progress in the Alpine. The DRS very effective here as Ahmed looks to go around the outside of Formula SB. He's going to get squeezed out of that one, I'm sure, as it's all just about as you were. Giraffe, though, has made a move on Andre Ivan by the looks of things, and has the DRS to pull away as well. So back to the front, we've got yeah, pretty stable gaps between the top 3. Formula SB has dropped out of DRS range, and yeah, a little bit of a gap coming there. And then Ahmed, the Entity, and Prostari. That's a sort of 4-way scrap that, in fact, is becoming a 5-way scrap because Lanzi has plugged himself onto the back of that one. The current championship leader looking to make progress. What's he done so far? He's who knows? Apparently he's maintained it, but it's also got 1 next to it, so he might be where he started. He might have gained 1 position. We will never know. Back to the tyres. Yep, there we go. What is the best battle on track? MRPK is a little bit too far behind. Does set the fastest lap of the race, but I don't think he's quite going to be within range, is he? That looks a lot to make up into turn 1. It's not a massive braking zone into Tamburello either. So yeah, definitely stays as it was. And Ahmed goes back into P4 as Formula SB didn't manage to get enough of a gap to break that DRS. As the Entity now looking pretty comfortable with Prostari behind him, still within range of the cars ahead to use the DRS to defend as well. What's going on here? We've got the two Mercedes defending from Luke and Giraffe, both on soft tyres. Against, well, Rickert on the hard tyres and looking to go very long indeed. We've seen that before from Rickert. He's not afraid of putting that white wall tyre on and going the distance. At the moment, though, no real hard progress on either of them there. We'll go back to MRPK, who maybe is just a little bit closer than he was the lap before, but again, not really within the sort of range he'd want to be. He'd want to be coming off the rat, so about half a second behind Fleddy if he can, and that would be pretty much a slam dunk move at that point. But maybe just quite happy to sit in that DRS zone and save his battery up. Yeah, maybe leading the pack might just take a little bit too much out of the battery at this stage of the race. Once again, Formula SB and Ahmed swap positions, so they're maybe just trying to DRS themselves towards the front pack a little bit, as Lanzi appears to have just got a little bit stuck within that 1 second window now. Ricker and Luke just having a little bit of a dice into turn 1, but maintaining position as they were at the moment. I'm sure Luke will want to change that at the earliest possible opportunity. Ricker just a little bit wide. But yeah, 6 laps already on those hards, but he's got a long way to go. He'll be going as deep as possible into this race. Yeah, Luke really on these soft tyres would want to be making a little bit more progress than he is, getting held up behind the Mercedes. Giraffe as well, I'm sure, wants to find his way back up the pack. Where is he now? So he's recovered to a point where he's only lost 6 from his starting position. Looks like he's got a very nice run through there, just picked up a little bit of understeer, which cost him a bit of time. MRPK starting to just ease back from Fleddy now, who looks reasonably comfortable up the front. I don't think we're going to see a swap for position this time between Formula SB and Ahmed, so we'll stick with this battle for sort of 11th, 12th and 13th. As Luke is going to go through, takes it with the DRS, and yeah, moves up into P11. So Giraffe now is released onto the back of Ricker. No DRS down this next straight, but does seem to have a pretty decent run. Nowhere really to go unless you're massively alongside into the Villeneuve chicane. Could get himself lined up for a dive into Tosa. But, no, not quite close enough again. But look at the extra grip he's got on these soft tyres at the moment. Only 7 laps on them, and half a lap to a lap was under the BSC, so just give them a little bit of a break. But definitely at this stage, still looks to be the faster tyre over those the hard compound. But, Ricker putting his car in all the right positions so far. As you can see, just charging the battery a little bit with that red light flashing, and Giraffe using all of the curb and then some, as we've got MRPK in the pits already at the end of lap 8. Giraffe, I think we're going to see a move from him. He'll probably just sit behind until we get to that DRS zone on the start-finish straight, and now he's really within range, although he did just run a little bit wide there. He should, as we've got, Wolsey. Try and pick him out. I think he's dropped it on the exit of Aqua Minerale, and we have a safety car, so that's, well, disaster, I guess, for MRPK, because the likes of Fleddy and Jordan Mason, anyone who's started on soft tyres now, this is the perfect time for them to pit and get effectively a free stop. MRPK has just pitted under green flag conditions. I can't see him getting away with that one. Perfect situation for Fleddy, although he's of course going to have the whole pack back on him. But yeah, the likes of Formula SB, Jordan Mason, Ahmed, Prostari, Lanzi, definitely, even Giraffe, that will benefit him. He can come in and get those soft tyres off. It doesn't really do much for those that are on the hards. If you're on the hard tyre currently, you want to be going a lot longer than this into the race. I'm certain we'll see Fleddy in this time, and I'm pretty sure all the soft tyred runners will follow. Yes, they do indeed. If anything, the Entity would probably be the one to try it, but I think even he will recognise that this is the perfect time to pit off those soft tyres. Even, I think, the medium runners, got Cranky in. Is Maggot going to be in? We're going to see most of the field, and I think Ricker will continue on with his hards. And how far can he get down the front? He's going to. Ricker's going to run in P2 then on those hard tyres. Oh, look at that! Closing up right on the back of Fleddy. Fortunately for Ricker, didn't quite manage to get to the front of the pack. But yeah, perfect scenario for Fleddy, and especially to have Ricker between him and the pack that's on a similar sort of strategy. But interesting, he's gone for the mediums. Jordan Mason's gone for the hards, as has Ahmed and Lanzi. So yeah, the McLaren's splitting the strategy as well. What is Wolvesy? Not a fan of the game by the looks of things, so I wonder if he had a little bit of an unusual retirement. So, right, what are we on? Lap 10 of 32, still a very long way to go this evening. Fleddy, you have to say, is looking pretty good, although not entirely sure how long the mediums would be expected to run, and whether or not he's going to have to make a second stop. I think you'd... Yeah, I don't know. So what's it's effectively asking? I would have thought the hards would have been... I think Fleddy's planning on pitting again. I don't see how you can get a set of mediums effectively, what, 22 laps to the end of the race. Jordan Mason might be sitting pretty. It depends on how the rest of the race plans out with safety cars or even virtual safety cars. If Fleddy was to get a cheap pit stop that way, he'd certainly have faster tyres at the end of the race. But yeah, this safety cars definitely just give us a bit of a strategic variable. Micken now is the only car that's not on the back of the pack. He's just come out of the pits, I believe. MRPK actually didn't lose out that much in the end. He managed to get himself back up to P4. That could have been a lot worse for him. Anyone who's definitely gained a lot? Not really. Lanzi probably have to queue behind Fleddy, I think, so seems to have dropped. Or was he behind Prestari anyway? I think he might have been so. Yes, it's pretty much worked out at the perfect time for... It worked out definitely the perfect time for the soft-tyred runners to pit. Interesting though, as we've said, that some have put the mediums on, some put the hards on. Definitely wasn't the right time for Ricker to pit off those hards. He's maintaining the way he was going. I don't think anyone stayed that. Booty stayed out there on mediums, hasn't he? So he pitted early on to repair damage, didn't he? So other than him, everyone's pitted basically, apart from the two guys who started on the hards by the looks of it, which is Huss and Ricker. We're going to get back underway though. Fleddy already has dropped the hammer. Safety car's back in pit lane, and look at that! What a restart from Fleddy. Oh, we've got an incident. Huss, I think, may have dropped it on the exit of the second Rivazza. Oh, we've got damage as well, so he's been in the wall by the looks of things. And unfortunately for him, he's going to be straight back to the pits as Lanzi gets a immediate time penalty as well. What on earth's going on here? Lanzi's dropping down as well. Lanzi's... Yeah. Disaster for your championship leader. Lanzi is, well, facing backwards, sideways, all sorts of ways. Does he have damage? Doesn't appear to have, but his tyres won't have enjoyed that too much, and he's got to keep them for a very long time if he's going to make that strategy work. And yeah, he's a long way down the order as well now. So other than Huss, we've got two McLarens at opposite ends of the grid. But what a perfect scenario this has turned out to be for Fleddy. Sorry, 2.6 clear already of Jordan Mason, who is running longer, of course, on those hard tyres. I think we're going to see Lanzi. I keep saying Lanzi. I think we're going to see Fleddy in again before the end of this race, unless he can get a gap and then just go super conservative on those mediums, but I don't believe that's going to happen. MRPK is now putting Jordan Mason under a little bit of pressure. No DRS yet, of course. We've just finished the safety car period, so he'll have to do it the hard way, the old-fashioned way, if he's going to do it at all. Ricker has already dropped down to P5, and Ahmed even on fresh hards. Oh, just as he loses out there, and that's going to put Prestari and maybe even Cranky fancies a bit of that as well. Ahmed down to 7th place currently. It's all really fallen apart for Williams, hasn't it? That with the early incidents, and the safety car doesn't appear to have favoured them at all. So Giraffe and Entity are 11th and 14th at the moment. Definitely will want to be improving from that before the end of the race, and you would expect them to as well, given their early season form. But Fleddy now almost 4 seconds clear. If Jordan Mason doesn't look to have much pace, he'll hope to have the endurance on those tyres, but the pace really isn't there. Certainly not at the moment. And oh, MRPK going up the inside, doesn't really need to risk that. He'll be easily passed on the straight, I would imagine. No DRS this lap, but he will have it on the next lap. But even so, should be able to tow his way through here before turn 1. Providing he's got enough battery left. We'll just have a look on the telemetry. Yes, he does, but Jordan Mason probably using his just enough to defend that. But yeah, certainly come the DRS on the next lap, we're going to see him overtaking. And we've lost Cranky, facing the wrong way down at turn 1, unfortunately. Cranky down to 16th place, gets it back, pointing in the right direction. And only yellow flags as well, so no harm to any of the other runners. Fleddy now in an absolutely peerless lead, 5.2 seconds clear. And MRPK is definitely, this is the closest gap in the field so far. We've got a massive midfield scrap coming, so we'll try and stick with this as long as we can. Hopefully see the move for 2nd place completed before we try and have a look what's going on in the mid-pack, because it's certainly looking pretty close. You know, all those 0.8, 0.3, 0.4 gaps all the way down the order, as Prestari and Ricker side by side now. Ricker just clipping on the ARS, charging as they go down there. And now we're going to have, could even have MRPK and Formula SB past Jordan Mason this time. Across the line they go, both got the DRS wide open. Jordan Mason's going to go as defensive as he can. And oh, it's getting tight down there, isn't it? But does have the move done. The Red Bull's very close. That's surely going to end in tears. It can't go side by side through there. They have done. But Formula SB doesn't quite get the move done. He's boxed in now, though. And oh, a little bit of contact. But incredibly, all three of them are somehow still pointing the right way. And I don't think any of them got damage from all that. That was an incredible bit of racing at the front there. And Ahmed now is still putting pressure on Ricker and still not managing to find a way through. What's going on a little bit further back? We've got Giraffe, Maggot, Luke, the Entity, I believe is this little group. May have just spread out a little bit. We've got a couple of 3 or 4 car trains forming, as Liam now looking to get past Andre Ivan. So yeah, not been a good couple of laps for AlphaTauri either, who I believe sit 3rd in the championship after 3 races. Yeah, big drop off from Williams and McLaren on 135 and 130. It's then AlphaTauri 3rd on 66 points. Fleddy comes across the line with the fastest lap of the race and an incredible near 7-second margin already. So even if he is going to pit again, you would imagine he would have more than enough in the tank to, if he doesn't come out ahead, I would imagine he has enough to make the overtake on fresh tyres towards the end of the race. We are just about at half distance now, lap 16 of 32. Still a very long way to go, and still plenty of time for these different strategies to play out. But it does seem that the hard tyre isn't ideal, so Fleddy, if he does pit again onto probably another set of mediums, that would look to have been the best way to play it with that early safety car. Huss, unfortunately, is very detached from the field at the moment. Could do with another safety car for him. As Maggot picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And what have we got now? Formula SB is sort of within range of MRPK, who won't have the DRS this time. He's lost the advantage of that. Now he's overtaken Jordan Mason. But, yeah, Formula SB has the DRS and has a little bit of ERS advantage over MRPK as well. It'll be interesting to see just how much MRPK starts to struggle down the back end of the straight. And yeah, just about manages to keep hold of that one. Any overtakes going on further back. We've got, what on earth's going on here? We've got Booty and Ricca getting very close. Ricca running a bit wide now, and Giraffe looking to the outside. Should get that one done now, and uses all his energy in the process, giving a nice bit of space to Ricca, who is now going to come under pressure from his teammate Maggot, who's on some medium tyres as well. So yeah, Ricca dropping back. And yeah, not even if these medium tyres have to pit again, Ricca's going to have lost track position to them. It's really not worked out for him. What have we got? We've got the Entity now on the back of Luke and the two Mercedes. Oh, big slapper from the... Oh, and Maggot's gone completely. Front wing off the Mercedes. Just saw Luke get the rear end out, and that let the Entity through, and then Maggot completely threw it at the wall ahead of them, so the Entity now gains 2 places through mistakes of drivers ahead, and if he can clear Ricca, he will be onto the back of his teammate, and the Williams are beginning to make progress. And actually with Lanzi right down the back of the order, this is actually not looking too bad an evening for Williams. If it continues like this, they would probably extend their lead, even despite Fleddy leading the race. They'll probably have to make a little bit more progress if Giraffe can get sort of around the top 5, that sort of area. It would be a decent evening for them. So Ricca's still managing to hold off the Entity at the moment. MRPK has actually dropped behind Formula SB somewhere, so that's a change for 2nd and 3rd. Wouldn't be surprised if that swaps a few more times though with the DRS on the main straight. We've got Maggot's been in the pits for a new front wing, and that's going to be tight as to whether he comes out ahead of Huss. It's going to be very tight indeed. I think he might just do it. And what's going on in the background there? No, it's just a Haas and an Alpha looking a little bit closer than they actually were. As the Entity now has managed to save a lot more ERS than Ricca. You wonder why the Mercedes is used so much around the back of the circuit, where it's very difficult to overtake. MRPK does indeed take back 2nd place. I think that's going to be a bit of a theme for the next few laps. But the Entity now, though, is going to definitely move up into 8th place. He's got that one done well before turn 1. And now sits behind his teammate Giraffe, who we've not seen much of the Giraffe fan club this evening. If they are out there, give us a shout. We'll certainly be looking to make progress, and the targets ahead, you would say, are probably going to be the likes of Ahmed and Jordan Mason. Those hard tyres not looking the best choice out there this evening. They will go a very long way, of course, so it may play out in their favour later on. And back to this one then. This isn't going anywhere anytime soon, is it? We've both got 8 and 9 laps on these mediums, so plenty still in them. And both just quite happy to keep swapping every lap with the DRS. But yeah, a very long way to go before they start closing down Fleddy, who now holds a 7.7 second lead at the start of lap 20. We've got some yellow flags down at Ravazza. I think we've lost Ahmed there by the looks of things. Oh, facing the wrong way. Oh, almost managed to take out his teammate there, Andre Ivan. But, luckily managed to avoid. And Cranky, I think, is going to probably take over that P13 as well. Recovering from his own incident earlier on. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Cranky maybe just misjudged that one. Absolutely no life left in the battery. So he'll need to charge that one up a bit. Oh, it's disaster for Alpha as, yeah, the other one spins now. As Lanzi makes up another place, so he's now into the points in P14. Fleddy, all pretty calm and collected. And, yeah, as a result of Ahmed spinning, that puts Williams up to 6th and 7th. MRPK and Giraffe both picking up time penalties. Pretty quick succession from each other there. MRPK did that up at the top chicane. Oh, big slide from the Red Bull there, and yeah, with DRS as well. You would imagine MRPK is once again going to swap for P2. All the way around the outside, Andre Ivan picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. So just a couple of drivers starting to accumulate a few too many warnings now. As Ricker calls it a day for the hard tyres. Probably going to put a set of mediums onto the end, I would imagine. No, he's gone softs. So he has gone softs. It'd be interesting. I think they'll last. I would have probably gone for the mediums just to get a little bit more consistent pace. The soft will be a very quick peak, but may die off. He'll make it to the end. It should make it to the end, but may just start losing a little bit of pace. And wait a minute, we've lost Formula SB. Oh, that's so close once again to contact as he rejoins Jordan Mason. Just about. In fact, there's been a penalty there for Formula SB, which I would not entirely say is unwarranted. There, it was yeah, very, very close indeed. But I think Jordan Mason got away without any damage and moves back up into a podium position. Prestari now is on the back of Formula SB as well, so might be able to might be about to lose out just a little bit more. And approaching turn 1, not quite close enough. Didn't feel the need to use any of the battery either to overtake there. Lehman's made some decent progress back up the field. Currently sits P8, just ahead of Luke. And Micken sitting inside the top 10. I think he was right down the back earlier on as well. So, yeah, good recoveries out there. Although there's still a bit of strategy to play out, of course. Ricker on those brand new softs. We'll soon see what sort of pace he can manage as he starts his first full lap on them. Fleddy, though, with a pretty comfortable now 8.2 second lead over MRPK, who I believe has at least one penalty. He does indeed. So, yeah, looking pretty good for the McLaren man so far. And should shoot him right up the table. Certainly will put him ahead of Formula SB. Put him close to the entity. I would say, yeah, should put him ahead of the entity actually. He picks up a penalty for corner cutting. It would put him ahead probably of Liam as well. I would imagine into 3rd place in the championship as it stands. So the top 3 are all pretty much spread out now. The closest battle in the top 5 is this one for 4th and 5th. Half a second between Prestari and Formula SB. And then we've got Liam and Luke pretty close together as well. They're the 2 closest battles on the circuit. We'll just go on board with Luke for a moment in the Aston Martin. Looked very on the nose there, didn't it? Certainly turned in very nicely indeed, maybe a little bit too nicely. It's dropping back just a little bit off of Liam in the first sector. We'll go back to Prestari. Fleddy coming around to start lap 24 of 32. No sign of him pitting yet. And completing, what, 13 laps now on those mediums. Still a long way to go on those tyres. But, yeah, 9-second lead. He might just be able to nurse them to the checkered flag. What sort of, in fact, Formula SB pits. Does he have damage? Is there a front wing ready? There is not. There is, however, a penalty being served, and he's putting soft tyres on. So that will help him. If there is a late safety car, getting rid of the penalty will certainly help him. Liam's pitted as well for softs, so a flurry of stops for soft tyres. Prestari picks up a penalty now for corner cutting as well. That was through the Villeneuve chicane, I believe. So who do we know is going to the end? Well, just scheduled to go to the end. Barring any mishaps, of course. Jordan Mason, definitely. Ahmed, definitely. Lanzi and Andre Ivan as well. And then you got the likes of Formula SB, Liam and Ricker, who've just pitted. Of course, everyone else, I would say, from everyone who's not running the hards from P1 to 10, I would imagine has to probably at least consider pitting again. But yeah, sometimes it's certainly in the case of Fleddy, maybe it's just a case of getting them to the end. They might not be at their best pace-wise, but he's got the gap to go with that. I would imagine an ideal sort of scenario is about 15 laps on the mediums, which obviously is in terms of getting some decent performance out of them. But if you're just looking for them to go, what, about another 8 laps on top of that, it's getting a little bit tight. But who have we got in now? We've got Cranky and Prestari. Yeah, so a lot of cars now coming in for soft tyres. I wonder if Fuddy's just going to assess what goes on behind him. He doesn't really have to worry too much, because if we go to the gap to leader, John Mason 17.3 behind him on the hards. So even if he did come out behind Jordan Mason, he's not going to be that far behind, and would soon take over the lead again. It does, however, go across the line to start lap 26 of 32. MRPK likewise continues on, and Jordan Mason, we know, will do indeed. Look at the two Williams coming through now, 4th and 5th once again, finding themselves up the front of the order. So despite a couple of mishaps that weren't necessarily under their control early on in the race, they have found some consistency and yeah, avoided the incidents of others. And so far, touch wood, they find themselves in a very strong position indeed. Be interesting to see how much progress these guys who have pitted for the softs can make. And Prestari and Formula SB, we know, are pretty quick over a single lap. Formula SB takes a 16.5 as maybe working together with Prestari, who seem to get well out of the way. I wonder if they're trying to drag themselves up the order with the aid of DRS. And then you've got the likes of, what have we got, Liam, Ricker, Cranky and Maggot. You've got the two AlphaTauris and the two Mercedes, unfortunately not having the best of evenings, but yeah, soft tyres bolted to 3 of them. You would expect them to try and make a little bit of progress. Booty is just about within range, within striking distance of Andre Ivan, half a second behind, and on fresher medium tyres. Fleddy into another lap, as is MRPK, so certainly looks like they're going to go to the end on those mediums. Did of course have a couple of safety car laps on them, didn't they? So that will have been a couple of easy laps for them. Booty now starting to line himself up. Not the most impressive amount of battery life remaining, but should have enough with the DRS to get it done. Using a bit of overtake to get himself within range as well. Just wants to be careful he doesn't end up running out of the battery power towards the end of the straight, but should have that one just about wrapped up. unfortunately, there's not a massive amount going on at the moment. I think this could be developing though. This could be a bit of a charge for Formula SB to go and salvage some points. Who knows, if these mediums do start dropping off, then he might gain quite a few places all at once. Certainly quicker than the 17-lap old hards that are on Andre Ivan's Alfa Romeo as he goes through into P11. So how far realistically can he get up the order? He is currently, what, about 5 seconds off Lanzi, 10 seconds off Ahmed, and Micken. Looking about, probably about P9, isn't it, for Formula SB at the moment, unless something incredible happens. Fleddy is on lap 28 of 32 with an 11-second lead. No penalties. All looking very good to make it to the end. And with pole position, no, he didn't get pole position, did he? MRPK did. So the point will go to the Alpine driver for that. As Formula SB now on the back of Booty should get this one done. Does indeed, moves into the top 10 and now has 3.5 seconds of clear air as Pistari moves up on Andre Ivan as well. And Ahmed and Micken just battling it out over 7th place. So yeah, Formula SB is definitely the man on the move out of all the soft tyre runners. We've seen a charge from him before this season, haven't we? I think, was it Australia? Maybe mistaken. I think it might have been the season opener in Australia that he ended up down the order and needed to stick on a set of boots and make his way back through. So that gap coming down already. Look, 2.2 seconds now. 2 seconds. It's already under 2 seconds. Can't even keep up the gap to Lanzi. So we'll go on board with him through this final sector. And yeah, look at that. The gap just coming down, hand over fist. Lanzi seemingly struggling. And he's going to have next to no defence if that's the only pace he's got. The Red Bull absolutely on rails with these soft tyres. Coming across the line into lap 29 for him. So that's, what, four laps remaining? Yes. It's been a long day. Yeah, so it's within a second now of Lanzi. If you can get that done fairly quickly, it's 5 seconds up the road to Micken. He might just get another position right at the very end, depending on how long those mediums hang on for. And there is the factor of penalties for cars ahead as well. Formula SB did, of course, as we saw, get rid of that 5-second penalty in the pits. That was for the contact with Jordan Mason, wasn't it? So oh, look how much extra pace he's got to Lanzi. Surely nowhere to go into the Variante Alta. Doesn't want to run to the back of him, and it's all just getting a little bit leery. Just needs to be patient. He'll have an easy pass towards the end of the lap. Just needs to basically sit where he is, get a bit of charge in the battery. The DRS will easily get him past Lanzi down the start-finish straight. It's been very powerful this evening. We've seen plenty of DRS action. Lanzi using just a little bit of overtake to defend. Formula SB starting to use his battery and should get this one done. He's going to have to go the long way round, but so much more braking performance. I think he'll have that one done. Lanzi didn't give it up without a fight, but has to accept second best on this occasion. And what is it now? It's 5.5 seconds to the back of Micken, with 3 laps remaining. It's going to be some ask, but you know, it's not impossible with these tyres performing as they are. We've got the likes of Booty coming through on some decent mediums, but also Prestari and Liam are around about there on softs as well. It doesn't look like that's going to pay off, does it? The likes of Fleddy and MRPK, who put the medium tyres on, have certainly, as it stands, come off best. Lanzi still trying to defend what is currently a top 10 finish, but I'd be amazed if he managed to do this for another couple of laps. They're surely going to be through on the start-finish straight, if not before. Booty, is he going to try one up the inside? No, Prestari has absolutely nowhere to go. He's boxed in behind 2 cars at the moment. But yeah, almost certainly, as we've said, going to go through with the DRS. Who's going to be first though? Because Booty is struggling for the battery. Prestari has plenty of it. No, look at that. Almost going to be contact between 3 cars there. Prestari's on the grass. Had to back out of it. That all looked a little bit messy, didn't it? But somehow we've got 3 cars still in the race. And Prestari, unfortunately, has to have another go. And that's just going to cost him time to close down on any of the cars as well. Formula SB, what's that now? It's approaching 3.5 seconds to Micken with 2 laps remaining. Probably not quite making up enough of a gap. As yeah, they're almost halfway around this lap as well. So Fleddy's on to his final lap. The second half of this race certainly got going, didn't it? We've soon got through that second 16 laps. And yeah, what a step forward it's going to be for Fleddy. This championship starts now, I guess. It's a bit of a stuttering start, even though he did, of course, have a win within the first 3 races. He's not had the best of results in either of the other 2. But yeah, starting the final lap for this group. But Fleddy's a long way round his already. Down at Aqua Minerale. I believe just about to put a lap on Maggot. But, what's going on here? We've got Prestari. This time does make it past Lanzi. But is he going to get past Booty on the final lap? He's going to have to pull out a non-DRS pass. Unless he can get it right at the very end, just before the line. Fleddy, though, is down. We've not seen too much of him, because he's been on his own pretty much since that safety car. And he's going to come across the line and picks up victory in round 4 here at Imola. And takes a massive step up the championship table. As a result, MRPK should hold on despite a penalty. Yep, should easily make that a P2 for him. And Jordan Mason will come across the line with P3 and the final podium position ahead of the 2 Williams. And we'll just try and keep up with a little bit of the action. Look, Formula SB has got on the back of Micken. The 2 Williams are about to cross the lines. Congratulations, Giraffe and Entity, for that one. Luke and Ahmed in between them as well. But at the moment, the action is Micken versus... In fact, we'll just keep an eye on Ahmed. No, he's not going to overtake Luke, is he? And so that's 6th and 7th. And oh, look how close it got in the end. And Formula SB does take P7. In fact, got ahead of Ahmed as well on penalties. Ahmed dropped like a stone on penalties there, down, all the way down. He finished, I think, P6 on track, did he? But finishes P12 in the results. What an incredible end to the race that was. And, yeah, wow. Luke is your driver of the day. Personally, I would struggle to give it to anyone other than Fleddy. Kept out of trouble, took the lead off the start, and I don't think ever conceded it after that point. So, podium celebrations for your top 3. Fleddy, of course, MRPK, and Jordan Mason, who has also had a bit of a difficult start to the season. He's picked up 1 podium so far. Sat 9th on 33 points before this evening. So that's a positive step for him as well, and should gain him a couple of places in the championship. And sort of gets Ferrari up and running properly as well, as Wolves is not... what's he picked up? 31 points so far. Unfortunately had a DNF in this evening. I think they'll go ahead of AlphaTauri though in the championship, up to P3. So confirmation of your results for Fleddy from MRPK, Jordan Mason, Giraffe, the Entity, Luke, Formula SB, Micken, Booty and Prestari are your top 10, and then Lanzi, Ahmed, Liam, Ricker, Andre, Ivan, Cranky, Maggot and Huss. Yeah, finished a lap down unfortunately in the end after that incident quite early on, and then Wolsey and Destroyer were your 2 non-finishers this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to go and get something to eat, so yeah, I'm going to get straight off, but thank you as always for tuning in. We'll be back with C2 action next week. Good night.